second car there so one of us can go, or we
Very
have a
wise.
plan to escalate. So, and that's something we kind of learned over the years, to not let it completely restrict us to the house, but and still try to expose them to living, because they need to live, they need to
Right.
experience life, and people need to experience them. They need to learn these special kiddos that are in our society and that are trying to be an active part of the community.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's like cutting your losses and changing your expectations, I think, as
Mm-hmm.
far as that's kind of what I've done. Okay, 20 minutes in the museum, that's fine. If that's all I
Yeah.
can get out of them, that's fine. I just have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
So if you're someone that is, dead set on getting through something, you're not going to want to roll with
Exactly.
these
If we
kids.
go someplace with our families, we always drive our own car, so that if we need to leave, we can. And I think, I'm a planner by nature. I'm someone who likes to know what's happening. I like to know my path.
Mm-hmm.
And this journey has very much taught me that that's not life. And I need to be more go to the flow. Am I organized? Yes. Do I try to plan? Yes. But I've also learned that I kind of have to step back, and the purpose of this life for me
Mm-hmm.
is to live it and to let my kids live it and to see their joy. And if that's what's going to give them joy to last 20 minutes, I'm good with that, because
Yes.
they got that experience. They got that joy. And now we can step back and go home and watch a movie, or, play with our blocks and come home where we're in our comfort zone as a family.
Right.
And to me, that's important for us. That's important for Rob and I as a family.
Absolutely. What do you personally do to cope as far as, what's your outlet? Do you
I
have one?
think about this a lot. Working is good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful that I get to work. I love to teach, and I love my peers, and it does give me an outlet,
Mm-hmm.
because I get to step away from the kids for those 5-6 hours.
Is that tough mentally to take that, put on the shelf your needs with your children and then go into your working role? And
Yes and no. I think
mm-hmm.
it's kind of it's an interesting role. I mean, once again, I'm fortunate that I know Rob is with the kids. I know that he is accessible at all times. And that's helpful, because he's incredible. He's an incredible father, and the kids are fortunate to have him. I also, it's varied through the year. It's dependent on
Mm-hmm.
what stage we were in. When Jake was struggling with school, and it was hard. It was hard for me to leave every morning knowing
I
that
bet.
my baby boy was going somewhere and he wasn't happy. And these last couple of years, knowing that he's in a place where I trust who he's with completely, that makes it so it's easier for me to let go
Mm-hmm.
and kind of focus on my job. And once again, I've always been very fortunate where my peers, they've known me since I've had the kids. Rylee was diagnosed my first year as a teacher. So,
wow.
I've been on this journey with the kids living with TS and teaching my whole teaching life, my whole experience. So my friends and my peers who I've taught with, my admin, they've always known up front, I will be here 100%, but my kids always come first. If something comes up and I need to take off, this might happen. And they've always been very understanding of that. And I've always been very upfront about it. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of important too. Even with my parents and my students, I will tell them, I will use every one of my sub days. Your child will have subs this year. And it's not and I will always do my best to make sure they are prepared. Your child will not miss a beat. It will be good. But no, I do have kids with issues. And sometimes things come up, specials come up. I sometimes have to travel. And if that's the case, I will make sure the child's taken care of. But please know, it has nothing to do with me not wanting to be here with your kiddos. It has me putting my own first.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of made that transition of, I always know I can be there for them if I have to be. I never feel like I'm trapped. And then I have that outlet of being with my peers who are my friends, and having them support and encourage me and allowing me to kind of let go of my thoughts of my kiddos and focus on my students.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me that kind of break, because once I get home, I don't get a break. You can't, as you know, once you're home and you're with the kids, there's no escaping to read a story or listen to music or watch a movie.
Yeah, as long as you're counting on being interrupted, right?
Yeah. So there's not much of an outlet there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and volunteering for us has been, I guess that's been important for me, is volunteering with the TS Alliance, and that involvement of feeling like there's a purpose to the journey.
Definitely.
And I think that's been huge for me.
I was going to piggyback off of that question and ask how you ended up getting involved with the TS Alliance. And I'd agree. I haven't, until the last few years, I hadn't been able to clear any of my time or anything to even think about volunteering. But I have in the last few years, and it definitely has made an amazing difference. I feel far more connected and supported. So,
it's huge. And we just started by going to a walk. But Rob and I were trying to remember, I think it's been about 10 years when we went to our first walk. And when the kids were first diagnosed, I was very overwhelmed.
Yeah.
We were not involved in anything.
Yes.
I was lucky to get through doctor's appointments. It was literally one day at a time. And then, Luke, we were still struggling with seizures, but we were kind of slowing down a little bit. We weren't in the hospital as much. And we found out about the walk in Southern California, and we decided, hey, let's do this. And, that first walk, all of a sudden you have this community that you didn't know really existed. You
Yes.
have this family out there, this extended family of people that understand what you're going through. And they are simply there to love on you and encourage you and just to let you know you're not alone. And that was a huge wake-up call for Rob and me.
I bet.
We kind of were like, wow, this is awesome. Like, our kids are happy. Like, Jake could flip out. No one cared. They were just like, hey, there he goes. It was incredible.
Right. And so tell me about your advocacy with the TS Alliance. So, what you're involved with, or what projects that
So after our first couple walks, we went to a few walks. We got to meet Kari, the president of the TS Alliance, and she got to meet the kids. And she's, the fact that she remembers everybody she meets is pretty incredible.
I know.
And then out of the blue, we got this call from Dina Hook, who at the time her title was the head of outreach, and saying, they had this organization. They were doing adult regional coordinators where they wanted adults with TSC in different areas that could support other adults, and that Kari had recommended us, and would that be something that we were interested in doing? Mm-hmm. And Rob and I our first instinct was like, no, like, how could we take on this? Are you crazy? And then we kind of sat back and we looked at each other and we kind of said, how could we not? Like, this is a community that we have a chance to give back to, that's giving us so much. Why wouldn't we take that leap of faith? And we knew life was crazy and we knew it would complicate things more, but we kind of had a faith that this was important. And it was something we needed to do. So we were thinking, I think it's almost 5 years ago now that we became adult regional coordinators, and Rob and I work together. We do 2 different regions. We have regions 1 and 2. So we have about 9 states, 7 states now, that we help support, and we work with other adults around the country. And then with that position, I've also been helping out with the dependent adult coordinators. So for the transitioning adults, especially since I have Rylee, who's a transitioning adult, and Jake. And I'm still learning the loopholes in that one.
Yeah, I'm one of those too, and I hear you.
And then we've been fortunate. The last year they needed new walk chairs for Southern California, so Rob and I went ahead and took on that role with a lot of support from our Southern California community and the TS Alliance, to kind of keep our SoCal walk, which was kind of full circle for us, since that's where we initially learned about this community and we know how important that was. And then Rob has since become a board member. Last year he joined the board, and then that's given us the opportunity to go to DC and advocate for funding through the Department of Defense. And then one more, last year our daughter was a junior leader with the TS Alliance, so she actually got to come with us to DC, which
I've heard that's incredible.
She's adamant she wants to go back again this year. It was an incredible experience, and it was
I'm glad
very
to hear that.
for her. So it's been very cool. And you guys, a second job, but
I can only imagine how much time I was going to ask you guys. I know you gave, I think you gave a seminar at the conference, relationships. Did you? Yes. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, we have been fortunate where, because our family is, it's crazy how many families out there that have more than one, if not all their children with TSC that kind of are similar circumstances to us. And because we kind of run that gamut of involvement where we have those manifestations that aren't quite as severe to battling the mental manifestations and battling some of the physical manifestations with Luke, it kind of gives us kind of this outlet and perspective of some of the different journeys. So it's made it, so it's kind of opened doors for us, allowed us to, kind of tell our story, kind of talk about Luke's seizures and the medical aspects and Jake's behaviors and having a daughter that's transitioning, that's, going to hopefully live a typical life of somebody non-TSC related and still advocate and be involved. So it's just opened a lot of doors for us to kind of use what we've lived through to hopefully help others so that they just have a little bit more going into it where they have a little more hope and awareness.
Yeah. I think hope is the key word when I'm talking to parents that are really overwhelmed. Just don't let go of hope.
Yeah, because, and I can say, we've now been on this journey. Rylee was 18 months when she was diagnosed, and she's 17, she'll be 18 in March. And I'm sure you've seen it too, that the medications, the treatments,
everything's better.
It's crazy that the
That's
early
what I tell
intervention
parents.
programs, like, if sometimes, it's kind of that bittersweetness of if we had those interventions early on for our own kiddos, like where would they be today?
Right.
But the cool thing is our kids help pave that way so that other kids can have that. And that's okay because that was just part of the journey. And now
I struggled with that. Yeah.
It's hard.
Sitting at the conference and you're hearing all these treatments that might have helped your kid.
Yeah, the autism study, the early intervention autism, that's huge.
Yes.
That's huge. I think, where would Jake have been if we could have gotten that intervention early? Luke's uncontrolled seizures, if we had those trials. But it's that hard point of you can't live in the past.
You can't.
And you can't have that remorse. It's always there. I can't say it's always gonna be there. But it's that focus of moving forward and knowing, my kids, they're okay. And whatever happens in life will be okay because we have each other. And our goal is joy. Our goal is to see those smiles and to see them be as successful as they can be. And in doing so, they're helping impact other people. And what more can you ask?
Right.
To know that your child is impacting other people around and helping them so their journey might not be quite as difficult. And that's pretty amazing when you kind of sit back and look at that perspective.
I agree. I think
that's what's helped me get through that. If only.
Yes, I know. Getting to that perspective, I think I play with it where I might struggle with it intensely, but then I can see the bigger picture and it all works together. It was supposed to happen this way. This is how it's happening, and let's just go with the flow and move forward with this. But it doesn't mean that it's easy all the time.
Exactly.
Definitely
and it doesn't mean that you can't have those moments of remorse and frustration and anger because it's only natural. We're only human. It's just a matter of getting through those moments and trying to focus on that bigger picture, which is not easy, but it's kind of the goal. And it's what allows you to kind of live that purpose and be excited for those treatments coming up and excited for those newly diagnosed kiddos. And knowing that you have so much more hope and knowing all the research that's still continuing with, what we get through the Department of Defense and just with the awareness of the TS Alliance and all these avenues that they're working on with, the infantile spasms and, LAM. It's crazy, the involvement and the hope that's there because of that constant advocacy and research that's not going away.
Yeah, that's one thing that I can tell parents is the treatments are better. It's a much clearer path. There's the treatment, the oversight and the process when your child's diagnosed are in place to give your child the best chance. And I think really we're going to just keep going forward with the whole field and hopefully find a cure.
And I'm hopeful that will happen someday. And, with Rylee, we talk a lot about, if she decides to have children one day, we always tell her we'll support whatever choice she makes.